Shalom, friends. Welcome to the Genesis. I'm Rabbi Josh. With the painful events of the Iranian war playing out, we thought that it would be an important time to have the voices of Iranian Jewish artists on this podcast. And we begin with the painter Dana Nehdaran, who has an Oregon connection, as you'll hear about. I came across his work quite by accident and was really, really struck by the visual power and the beauty and the wide range of Dana's work. One of the things that's interesting about this podcast episode is that Dana is not interested in identity art. He's not interested in labeling himself as an Iranian Jewish artist, even as those identities undoubtedly play out through his work. We do discuss some of his work that has explicitly Jewish themes in a series called Esther's Children, but we also talk about his work and look at some of his work for those who are watching this on YouTube that is not explicitly engaged in his Jewish or his Iranian identity at all. He has a beautiful series of self-portraits which we look at and which we discuss. Dana was very clear that he did not want to talk politics in this episode. He really wanted to emphasize his role as a painter, an artist. That's how he thinks of himself. And so we honor that request. This is not the episode where we're going to go into the politics of Iranian society or the war, but rather to celebrate and uplift this particular unique Iranian Jewish voice. We hope going forward in the weeks to come that we will have other such voices as well, but we did want to start with this artist who has an Oregon connection, and you'll find, I think, a lot to like in this conversation. We talk about the fundamentally important question, who am I? Which animates his work of self-portraiture, but also, as you'll hear, that is a fundamentally important question in the spiritual Jewish quest, one that is echoed in the Torah. We also talk about the mechanics of artistic creation and the relationship between the creative impulse and the technical mastery required to learn how to paint. We talk a little bit about Iranian Jewish life because of his series, Esther's Children, and a whole lot more. So please enjoy this conversation with Dana Nehdaran. Thanks so much for listening. Dana Nehdaran, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Rabbi Joshua.
So thrilled. I already feel like I know you, but we've never met, and I only know you from your beautiful work that I've only seen online, and we've just been chatting for a few minutes. But I don't want to use this opportunity, and neither do you, to delve into the politics, but I had reached out to you because of what's happening in Iran, and you've shared that your friends and family are safe, and so just want to acknowledge that. But really, I thought that this was a good time to hear about the work of Iranian Jewish artists. First of all, does the descriptor Iranian Jewish artist, does that fit? Is that how you think of yourself? Or do you just think of yourself as a painter?
That's a better word. I'm just a painter.
There are people who consider themselves either Jewish painters and everything is some kind of Jewish expression, or African-American artists who may focus their work and their identity. But so with that as the background, when did you first know that you wanted to be an artist? Because you went to art school in Iran, right?
I started painting oil on canvas when I was 9. My uncle used to paint when he was a teenager. Then he went to Oregon, studied engineering. He still lives there with his wife, that she's also Iranian, and 2 sons.
Fate has a funny way of connecting people. So what was your artistic background? Oil painting at age 9 is very young.
I was in my grandmother's house, and I found a box that it was, when I opened, I saw a magical box. It had brushes and oil tube. And also it was a very dirty palette, that it was lots of dried paint on that. And also my uncle painting was always on the wall. My grandfather, who passed away, his portrait was on the wall that my aunt commissioned a very young artist to paint her father portrait because he passed away. And the interesting part is I was born exactly the same day of his anniversary pass away. So they named me after him, but they never called me Rachamim or Rahmatullah, so they called me
Okay.
Dana.
But his name was
So
Rachamim.
yeah,
Yeah.
and my name is also, my Hebrew
Yeah.
name is Racham.
Tell me a little bit about growing up Jewish and in Iran. Was your family religious? Was it challenging to be Jewish, or were your friends Jewish? Tell me a little bit about the community you grew up in.
So Esfahan, my hometown, I'm not sure if you know about this, but they used to call it Yahudiya
Oh, really?
or hip or
Yeah.
Jewish city, if I translate it, because most of the people were Jewish. And then changed the name to Esfahan. I mean, then actually you cannot believe it was J, just J word was also name
Wow.
of Esfahan. But they changed through the time and it's became Esfahan. So, but after the revolution, of course, many Jewish moved to Israel, moved to America or Europe. But I guess when I was growing up, maybe it was like 100
Mhm.
families or
Mhm.
10 people. And there are lots of old synagogue and one new synagogue. That because we were very close to the new synagogue, we go to new synagogue. My family are not
Mhm.
religious, but we love
Mhm.
community. There are some families that they go every day to synagogue, but we go Shabbos night and we celebrate the Shabbos dinner. And it was, maybe I should say, mostly traditional because we celebrate all the Passover,
Yeah.
Rosh Hashanah, all Sukkot. You know, we maybe we had the best Sukkot in Isfahan because I remember they used to give prize. The community give the prize for the best Sukkot. We never get because we never try to show
Right.
them.
Over here, and certainly so many of the artists who I've engaged with in the Jewish world over here would define themselves as Jewish but not religious. Do you ever, to take it in a slightly different direction, do you ever find that in your work, whether it has Jewish content or not, is there anything for you, a painter, that is spiritual or religious, not necessarily in the content, but in the process? Is that like a spiritual experience for you to paint? Some artists who I speak with, though they describe themselves as being Jewish but not religious, I've found that for some people, the creative process is, if not religious, it's spiritual in some way, or it fulfills this kind of yearning. Do you have that
Oh, yes.
experience as a painter?
I should answer your question first with my Esther children exhibition that once I had in Tehran, then I had in Dubai. So what happened? My brother, who is a photographer now, and his works is in
Right.
lots of museums,
Darius,
like
correct?
Detroit. We pronounce
Dariush.
Dariush, but and yes, pronunciation Darius. Anyway, Darius or Dariush, his thesis, am I right?
Yes, thesis.
in in university was about Jewish sign, Jewish symbol sign. So he was bringing lots of books to research, and it wasn't easy like this time that you just
Right.
search online. So he brought lots of books home. And I remember he brought a book named Esther Children, written by Human Sarsha, a Jewish-Iranian Iranian writer in America who writes about Iranian Jews and about history, about lots of things. So when he was checking the book, I just fell in love with the story and the picture and the books. So one day I just start painting one picture and then another picture, and I add something and remove something from the picture. And one day I decided to make one good series of those pictures from the book. That in the result, it goes 2 times show, once in Dubai, once in Tehran, first Tehran, then Dubai. And it sold out in Dubai.
Amazing. I want to pull up on the screen some images from that. Okay, so I'm just pulling up here some images. For those who are listening or watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see. And if you're just listening on the podcast, you can use your imagination, or you can go to our YouTube channel, which is the Genesis Jewish podcast, and you'll be able to see some of these images. Okay, sorry, go ahead, Dana.
So as you see in the picture, there is a photo and there is a painting next to that.
Yes.
Right? So this picture makes me fall in love with this series and the book, because I remember the oldest guy in this picture. He's from Gulpaigan, 19.
But how do you know this about that individual? From the book, from the original book?
Yeah, it's written in the book. And those guys are his son. The little one is his grandson. And when you see that,
oh, wow.
This,
I was going to say, for those who are listening, I'll try to just paint a picture. So there's an original photograph of 6 individuals, 6 men and 1 little boy in front of a library. And it's the little note says the Kahan family, which of course is related to Cohen for those with European pronunciation. So they're clearly Kohanim. So there's this picture that inspired Dana.
I painted with oil. And if you see, I added a little bit more. I mean, the painting is a little bit wider because I added on the right side. And I added my self-portrait instead of the grandkids.
Oh, I see. So you're saying this here? Oh, yeah, wow. Me. So tell me why you did that.
Seriously, I don't know. I just play with paint. And
so is that you as a little boy, or do you see that as you now?
I guess it was maybe little boy and also me at the same time on that, because I painted this painting 2011 or 12, I guess. Yeah, and right now this painting is in the museum in Dubai.
It's just stunning.
I want to thank Human Sarsha for writing this book and make the world familiar with Jewish families and archive all those pictures.
Say his name.
His name is Human Sarsha. He wrote the book. If you just search Esther Children book, you're gonna see the
so
book.
Esther Children was the name of his book, and then also the name of the series of your work. Is that right?
Yeah, I use his name of the book without permission or copyright. You cannot believe what happened. So I had a show in Tehran with same title, and I remember that Israel Farsi radio talk about this show. And I remember that it was like a bomb that Israel radio talk about an exhibition in Tehran about Jewish people, about Jewish history. And the radio thanked the gallery. The gallery was Shirin Partovi, the owner, and the name of the gallery is Shirin Gallery. That she's a very sweet lady. Anyway, she was, tomorrow after the radio show, she was really worried about that the police gonna come and they're gonna close not just the gallery, not just this exhibition, they're gonna close the gallery. But I told her, look, this book published in America, but once translated in Iran, and again without his permission, the human searcher, published in Iran, and they are selling for almost 10 years. So everybody knows about this book and everybody using these pictures, but this time that I'm using and I painted as a Jewish person, I guess it's totally
I think
fine.
it's so. I think that it's Iran to Americans and to Jews it's a black box. All we know is that there's this regime, but we don't know what the actual experience is like under the regime. What actually happens in real life? What gets permitted and what's done quietly? But it's so there's this exhibit of your work explicitly Jewish. And were the authorities aware of it?
The Israel Farsi radio thanked the gallery for holding this show. And tomorrow after the radio, Human Sarsha called me from America. I don't know how he found my name. I mean, he found my number. And he also was really happy for the show. Yeah. So it's just everything was serendipity that my brother brought the book. I fell in love with the book and the story, and I started to paint. And a gallery in Tehran was interested to show, and the radio.
That's incredible.
And Human, the writer, called me.
I love it. One thing I noticed that so in the original photograph, in the above the men who were sitting in front of this beautiful old library of books, there's a picture that I think is probably the Rambam, probably Maimonides. I'm not sure, but it's on my screen. It's not even the size of a postal stamp.
No, actually, no. I painted Mona Lisa instead of the Moses.
That's what I was going to ask about. Yeah. So let me just explain. Sorry. So there's a picture of the Rambam, or you're saying it's Moses. I think it's probably maybe a medieval philosopher. I'm not sure. And then in your rendering of it, it's the Mona Lisa. So tell me about that choice.
Yes, because my previous exhibition was a solo show about just Mona Lisa. I painted Mona Lisa 100 times in monochrome. So it was just red, or it was just yellow. So I painted Mona Lisa because it was my previous exhibition instead of Moses or Ibrahim.
If I had to guess, I would say that is Maimonides, Moses Maimonides, the philosopher, but I'm not sure, medieval philosopher, but I'm not sure.
I guess. Yeah, the other one is Moses, I guess.
Oh, I see. I didn't even see that over there. Yeah. That looks like it could be because I think he's holding the tablets. Yeah, I see. Just fascinating. Can I keep scrolling a little bit more? And there you are.
Go ahead, please.
Now, one of the questions I had for you, Dana, is that there's like I perceive that there's like a layer of obscurity. It's hard to explain if you're not seeing it, but it looks like the viewer is not just seeing clearly. It seems to be like we're looking through something. Like there's an effect of things being blurred out a little bit. And I'm wondering if that's deliberate and what that means, if it means anything at all.
You're right, because I try to blur some of the faces, even I remove some of the character in the picture. And as you know, Michel Foucault, the French philosopher, believes as long as you don't see, it has more power. You know, so I usually blur my painting to not punch your face. It stays there on the wall, and whenever you find the time.
I see. It's more evocative. It's more evocative if you can't see every detail, you're saying.
You're gonna see, but you need time to see. It's not clear.
Yeah, really incredible. So can you let's just see, can you tell us something about this one?
I guess it was a wedding that these are people. I'm not sure, actually. If you go higher, I can show you the
Okay, hold
wedding
on one
one.
second. Oh God, I just love these so much. Tell me.
This actually,
Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
this
Edit.
one
Okay.
is my self-portrait because I added my self-portrait to the series to tell them that I'm one of you. Beside this self-portrait, with all the picture were
Yeah.
in the
Well, I
book.
really, the self-portrait was
Yeah.
not, well, of course, but
Yeah.
gosh, I really hope that people who are listening on the podcast will go to YouTube so you can see this. Tell me, we began the conversation and with my asking you, do you see yourself as an Iranian Jewish artist? Is that the right label? And you just said, no, I'm a painter. But you also put yourself in here to say, I'm one of you. So what was it like for you looking at painting these portraits of Jewish families as a Jewish Iranian living in exile, so to speak? Did you feel connected with your tradition or the community, or was it just another painting?
Of course I have connection, but if I want to call myself just a painter, and also I should tell you that nationality or religious is something else,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something else.
What do you mean by that? Help me understand when you say it's something else.
I mean, I know that these days it's very fashionable that identity artist, right? As you mentioned that I'm African, I don't know, I'm European, I don't know, I'm from Pakistan, I'm Hindu. I should tell you that when I was in Iran, I was familiar with this stuff, but in Iran, because everybody is Iranian, it's not a big deal because everybody is Iranian. So it doesn't really matter that you're Iranian, or maybe on that time I painted these to mostly tell other religious who lives in Iran that look, we have history together and we love each other. My history as a Jewish is not separate from your history as a Muslim. We are all Iranian and we all exist, and we are we live in the same location and we are happy. Even after revolution, before revolution, before even, I guess, Islam come to Iran, Jewish were because I guess we goes during the Cyrus time, and Esther and Mordechai was there. That we have a history.
That's I think a beautiful. I think that sometimes when whether we're artists or just thinking of ourselves, sometimes if we focus on our identity, sometimes it can separate us from other people because this is just who I am. But there's also a way, like you're describing, of celebrating our own unique stories, but doing it in a way that emphasizes our commonality. Everybody has a unique story. So your message to other people in Iran who aren't Jewish is, this is me, but we share our history, right? Is that what you're saying?
I guess, right. But I'm telling you that on that time, I thought like this. Now that I'm in America for 11 years, and I see that everybody has trying to introduce themselves as an identity, I'm swimming against, saying that no, I'm just an artist. And when I paint, I'm not saying I'm not using the Persian miniature painting. I'm using them, but still I want to use the international language about my art and my work. And I try to stay away those labels.
Before we move on, let me just say one thing that I should have said for people listening. The reason, going way back here, the reason it's called Esther's Children, for those who don't know, is that the book of Esther in the Hebrew Bible, in the Tanakh, which we read on Purim and is part of our story, takes place in Persia. So that's the reason that there's this connection to this Iran and Dana's work and based on that book. So I just wanted to make sure people remember that. So now, again, for people who are listening, head over to the YouTube channel and you'll be able to see that now we're looking at Dana's work, his self-portraiture. So go ahead, you were going to say.
Yeah, this is my recent series that I'm working on. And I call this series Interrogation Room because I have a mirror in my studio that I use this mirror as an interrogation room. So what happened in this mirror, I just see myself, one light, and I try to discover and understand myself through the mirror.
Can I ask a question? So
Sure.
The word interrogation, that's a heavy word. That has a kind of aggressive, not pleasant valence. So why do you use that as opposed to, I don't know, just saying reflection or something? Why interrogation? Does it have that feeling of harsh examination?
Actually, you got it, because interrogation room, I never been actually, but I've seen in the movies that they ask one question again and again to take the truth out.
Yes.
Right? And it's interesting, just they ask one question. It's an empty room, one light, one table, and one question. So I try to understand myself through one mirror and one question: who are you? And I try to go to layer of understanding myself by forcing myself that who are you? And I repeat this question again and again. I painted this self-portrait for 126 times until now. And
yes,
and I should tell you that Iran, hiding your emotion is part of the culture, at least during my time. So if I get mad at somebody, I wouldn't tell, you know. So for many these kind of thing that I hide during my life, and now that I'm trying to understand myself and go back and self-therapist myself with painting language, I paint myself through that mirror that I name it interrogation.
Wow.
And repeating this makes, believe me, it's happened for me that I tell myself, okay, same mirror, same model mirror, same lighting. What do you want to do? And I paint and I see something that I never seen before.
Yeah.
Seriously. I paint something that I wasn't expected at all.
So I look at these very powerful, and they're all quite different. What is obvious to me is that as a non-painter, or just as a layperson, it's obvious that you're bringing different physical properties out of each one of these, right? Each one looks quite different. But you're saying that you, as the painter, also are getting an understanding of who you are as a person.
Yeah.
So I have to say, because I asked you, this is where the rabbi in me is coming out, because I asked you if there was a spiritual experience in painting, and we're looking at your series of self-portraits. There is a teaching that and people who listen to this podcast may have heard me say this before, but one of my favorite teachings is that when God, at the burning bush in the book of Exodus, when God says to Moses, I want you to go to Pharaoh and to free my people, Moses says, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and lead this people out? And some people you have isolated, one way to read that sentence is to isolate the first part, who am I? And then, in other words, Moses is asking two kinds of questions. One question is just practically, what's so special about me that I should go to Pharaoh? But the deeper question is really him asking, who am I? And that is really the ultimate spiritual or religious question. And what you're describing, I don't want to label it for you at all, but what you're describing is such a beautiful process of self-investigation. I'm jealous that you have the access to that through this medium. That sounds like a powerful form of meditation to me.
It really is, I should tell you. And also I didn't know that Moses told God, right? That
Yeah,
why
mi
me and who
anochi
am
is the
I to
beginning.
do
Mi
that?
anochi means who am I? And that's the first two words of his response.
I seriously, I didn't know that. And
Yeah.
it's interesting.
So now I
Yeah.
want to ask you, when you're looking at yourself and you've got your canvas here, are you seeing with your eyes individual colors and individual patterns such that you can draw them out and paint them? Do you see what I'm not asking very well, but do you see what I'm saying? Like, how does that shining light become a white dot? Is that what you're seeing?
I guess I make a little bit high contrast in my painting. And also, so when the interrogation room is totally dark and we have one source of light, so the contrast is going to go high. And so I'm bald and it's reflect the light. So I really see that light.
Okay, but here's another example. So here's another, I really like this one. And you have shadows on your face, like it's clearly a portrait of you, but there's shadows rendered in different colors, like in a green. So I'm just so interested how a painter draws out colors from what would to anybody else just look like a picture of a man.
So I should tell you that right now I'm seeing your beard green. Your right side is green. Yeah, and I see all I'm sorry. I see all the light on your face. And I can easily paint your portraits right now. Anyway, I see a cover. Yeah. This is my job. So being an artist, I should say being as a painter, you first before you touch your paint or brushes or sitting behind the easel, you see. Seeing is first in my job.
Learning how to see.
You know? Yeah, if you can see, you can paint it. If you don't see, how do you want to paint it?
And is there a process of, is that the innate gift that an artist has that she then draws out through technical skill? In other words, like when you were 9, do you think you were drawn to painting because you had this gift of seeing color, or did you have to learn how to see?
Definitely believe gift, a talent, definitely, because your mind works like this. Some people better in music, better in picture, better in mathematics. So I guess we are a machine that one part is stronger, And I when I was a kid, even without pencil, I remember I sketched in my mind yearly. I remember. So, but definitely you need to develop, it's not enough. You have this gift, as you said, or talent, and definitely you should make it stronger. For example, you are an apple tree, and you should be in a good situation to give good apple.
I love that. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. You're in orange tree, and at the end you're gonna give orange. You're not gonna give apple. So if you're good at music, you're gonna be a musician. Or if you're good at mathematics, you're gonna be a
it's interesting because I'm a guitarist. I'm trying to learn to be a better guitarist. And my son is also a guitarist. And we were talking about the relationship we were talking about how important I never realized, I should say, how important technical decisions and distinctions and skills are to creative expression. Now that might sound ridiculous to you, but I think I grew up with a notion that an artist is somehow like magically gifted to create, and that may be true, but unless you learn the technical skills of expression, which are quite mundane, you can't do the creative expression. So I'm just wondering if that resonates with you, because each of these beautiful paintings there's a decision about lighting and shade and how much paint and how little paint.
I remember that when I was in college, they told us that you should know how to paint, but whenever you should learn how to paint, like, I don't know, Rembrandt, like Da Vinci, whatever. But whenever you start to paint, you should not care about any of them. You should just
paint what you see.
Yeah, and also I guess in lyrics, in the poem, you should know the structure of writing. For example, this is verb, this is subject. I mean, and if you break all those things, you're gonna be a poem. In the painting, I guess it's the same. You should know everything, but when you paint, you should not think or care about them. As a guitarist, you know better, but if you know all the technique, I don't know, the classical, flamenco, or whatever, but when you want to play your music, you should care.
No, I think that's right. I'm trying to get to the point where I have enough knowledge that I can then forget about it when I'm playing, but it takes a while to get there. So we're almost out of time here. So I mostly just want to express my gratitude to you. This has been a really great conversation. I'm excited to share your work with people through the podcast. We will put your website in the show notes. So there's a link to your website. So for people who want to explore more. And I just want to offer you my well wishes and prayers for your family and friends to remain safe during this time of conflict.
Thank you. If you also add my Instagram.
Okay, we'll include that too. If you end up coming out here and you end up having time, please look me up, and it would be wonderful to buy you a cup of coffee.
For sure. Yeah, I'm a big fan of coffee.
Portland is the right city for it. All right, Dana Nehdaran, thank you so much. Be well. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye. Bye. Peace.
Peace. Bye.